We'll begin tonight's forum with the race for Cobb County Commissioner, Post 1. Now, these two candidates in the runoff election are Bob Weatherford and Bill Byrne. Gentlemen, please take up to 1 minute. Come on up, folks. Bill, it's a pleasure. Have a seat. Grab hold of those microphones. They're microphones, they are not clubs. You'll each have 1 minute to introduce yourselves, and Mr. Byrne, you have first honors. Please, whenever you're ready, sir.
Thank you. My name is Bill Byrne, and I'm pleased to be here with Bob Weatherford to discuss the District 1 Commission race, and I'm running primarily for two reasons. Number one is to return our public safety to the status it once had years ago, where they were the highest paid, best trained, most professionally armed public safety department in the state of Georgia. With the Braves moving to Cobb and the expansion of KSU to becoming within a 3-year period of time the largest university in the system, we have got to expand our public safety with them as well. And secondly, the issue I'm most passionate about is my opposition to the BRT, the Bus Rapid Transit proposal that will become before you, and I am deeply opposed to that for a variety of reasons. And I want to thank the FOP tonight for their endorsement from Public Safety, and from Angela Barner from her endorsement with regards to my BRT proposal. Look forward to answering questions this evening.
Mr. Weatherford.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here tonight. This is where I live. This is my town, and I spent the last 12 years serving the citizens of West Cobb and the citizens of Ackworth. I think you all agree that Ackworth has grown from a sleepy little town to a very nice town where people want to live, work, and play. The quality of life that we have developed here was a team effort between the mayor and the council, the business association, the faith-based community like North Star Church, and of course all our educational facilities here. So I'm very proud to be a small part of that over the last 12 years, and I look forward to taking that effort, that work, collaborative effort, to all the citizens of West Cobb. I feel that my experience of working together with all these different communities is going to make me work better for all the citizens of Cobb County as we go forward. And the next few years are going to be very critical in Cobb, and I feel we need someone that has that experience, that attitude, that servant leadership, and I believe that I'm the one that has that. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much. I'm going to ask you a few questions now. As I noted a moment ago, you'll each have 1 minute to respond, and I might ask a follow-up. Mr. Byrne, we'll start with you. This is for both of you gentlemen. One of the hottest topics in Cobb County right now, of course, is the construction of the new Braves Stadium near the intersection of I-75 and I-285. I'd like to know now where each of you stands on this important topic, and if elected, how will you advance your position in that matter? Mr. Byrne.
Well, my viewpoint on the Braves is that I'm very much in favor, and I applaud those who were instrumental in bringing it to Cobb County, but for different reasons. I think once the stadium is built and the development around it is complete, if you were to draw a line from the Cumberland CID to the Town Center CID to the perimeter CID and back, you will create a new region of economic and political importance, not only for our region, but for the state of Georgia, and that's a win-win for Cobb County. I'm deeply concerned about the impact on public safety that we're going to have, and also the issues of transportation. Neither is being addressed in the professional manner that I believe it has to happen. We have to work out the arrangements for public safety. We have to address the issues of transportation, and once that becomes final, then that's a major hurdle. I am concerned initially because 6 or 7 months ago we were told that the taxpayers would be responsible for $300 million, and we've exceeded that.
All right. Mr. Weatherford.
Thank you. I think the Braves are a great thing. I believe that it's going to be the biggest economic driver that we've had in Cobb County in many, many years. Neither Bill or I had any part of that. Our job would be then as commissioners to ensure that the taxpayers' interests are protected, that we spend exactly what we say we're going to spend, that we do what we need to do to make sure that their success, that they bring the economic development that we need in Cobb County so that our taxes can be lowered our revenues can come up. There are lots of issues associated with it, including public safety, of course, transportation. Many of those are being addressed as we speak. Some of those will be done before we have an opportunity to have any input on that. But the primary focus, I think, of the commission from this point forward, next year and on, is to protect the taxpayers' interest, to make sure that we have spent all we're going to spend and that the Braves is a success. I firmly believe it's the best thing that happened to Cobb County since the Olympics. Well, we didn't get those, did we? So,
Gentlemen, I'm going to call an audible here, and I want to ask each of you very briefly, 15 seconds only for each of you, can we, given the issues that you both outlined, can we successfully throw the first pitch by opening day 2017? Mr. Byrne.
Well, much of that depends on the legal process and whether or not that holds up the issues. But I sincerely believe, looking at the construction schedule, that April 1st of 2017 is realistic. Whether or not we, Cobb County, will be ready for it, I can't say. The Braves will.
Mr. Weatherford.
I certainly anticipate that we are. We have a construction manager, we have a team in place. The Braves have a lot of money invested. The county and the community, as well as the region, have a lot invested in this process. So it has to be on time, or we have some issues. So part of the job here is to make sure that that occurs and that it is on time and under budget and the taxpayers are protected.
Public safety is a hot button issue right now in all of Cobb County, especially with construction of the stadium now underway. There are honestly a lot of people here who are worried about the direction of law enforcement in Cobb and are concerned about what they see as a lack of funding and support by the Board of Commissioners. Do you agree with that sentiment? If so, what is your plan going forward to address the issues of public safety in Cobb County? Mr. Weatherford.
Thank you. Public safety is an issue. Public safety always has and always will be an issue. I spent 25 years in law enforcement, either in full-time or as a reserve officer, donating my time a lot to this community. In fact, when I got elected 12 years ago, I was captain of the police department here, so I'm very familiar with public safety from the inside out. There are a lot of issues that you can address. The issue of pay, to make sure that we're in parity with other surrounding agencies our size. I'm a little concerned that the county's spending $1 million to figure out what that pay is. All you have to do is call about 10 people or 10 agencies and find out what that is and see what the pay is and just make sure you're better than that. That's what we did here in Ackworth. The other thing is take-home cars. It's visibility. It's things that need to be done. Target hardening. We need to also look at the issue of parity. In Cobb County, public safety is public safety, whether they be sheriff, police, or fire. Those aren't the same jobs. They should be paid according to what they're worth in other areas as well. So there are a lot of things that need to be addressed. It takes someone that understands it from the inside out, and I believe I'm that candidate.
Thank you. Mr. Byrd.
I think there is a huge issue here, and I'm very concerned because about a year ago, about 70 police officers left employment in Cobb County for a variety of reasons. I drew attention to it at that time and continue to because the Board of Commissioners has authorized our public safety director to hire 40 more. Well, that leaves us 30 short from 2 years ago. If they were serious about public safety, they would have negotiated with the Braves this concept. Cobb County needs 10 acres. You're going to donate it to us. Cobb County needs a new police precinct for $5 million. You're going to build it for us. Cobb County needs a new fire station on this 10 acres. You're going to build it for it. You do that, we'll do this. It's a win-win for the Atlanta Braves to say we have a public safety presence at our front door, sends a clear message to all of the players and all of the people who come to watch the games. And the message the Board of Commissioners would have sent was public safety is my #1 priority. They didn't, we have to.
Gentlemen, thank you. Folks, please hold your applause. We can get more stuff in if you do. In this segment now, we're going to have each of you ask questions of each other. You'll each have 30 seconds to ask the question and 1 minute to reply. The person asking the question will then have 15 seconds to rebut. Time limit is going to be strictly enforced here, gentlemen, and I reserve the right to ask a follow-up at any time. We will begin with Mr. Weatherford.
I'm Paul House. Is this asking a question of Mr. Byrd?
Ask him. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
There was a lot of opportunities I had to find questions for him, so I just had to pick one out of the many. For the last 12 years, I've been serving as elected officials, working hard to keep Cobb County strong. During those last 12 years, Mr. Byrne, you've been running for office. desperate return to the spotlight. You left your unfinished term as chairman to run for governor, you left Cobb County again by moving to Polk County to run for commission there, and even stated in the process, the last thing I wanted to do was live in Cobb County, quote, end quote. Then you moved back and ran for chairman, and now here we are again. Bill, your record shows in the last 12 years you have had your own interests at heart, not Cobb County. Honestly, how can the people of Cobb County trust you?
Well, that's a good question, Bob, and I appreciate that opportunity. Let me address the Polk County issue first. I purchased property there in 1998 on an old house on 10 acres, and I paid the going price. In my work as a landscape architect, that's where I work out of, and my marketing efforts are focused on 17 county, northwest Georgia, and having a rural address certainly helps me in rural communities. Polk County is a population of about 40,000 people. The majority of people there still farm for a living or raise cattle for a living. That's what they do. To think Cobb County's concept of growth and growth management fits Polk would have been wrong. That would have destroyed their quality of life. Just as the East Cobb growth possibilities, probabilities, and proposals would destroy the quality of life in the growth in West Cobb. And that's my primary focus, is to protect West Cobb for inappropriate growth.
Mr. Weatherford, 15 seconds.
Well, obviously you have many times to work through this, and I'm assuming that we can take you on your word that you're committed to Cobb County.
Mr. Byrne, please, your question for Mr. Weatherford.
I do have one, and let me read it as well so I don't misquote you, Bob. When Angela Barner endorsed my candidacy, you said about her, there's a Weatherford said somebody offered them something that I wouldn't. I don't do deals. She responded in the MDJ article, Bob Weatherford on this subject are truly false. Don't you think publicly you owe Jim and Angela Barner an apology for those kinds of statements?
Well, thank you, Bill. Obviously, during the weeks after the primary, there were a number of us meeting with everyone. You met with the Barners, or at least with her husband, I believe. I met with a few and requested a meeting with her, and that was set up. The same day that we were working on doing that, obviously, she came out the next day and endorsed you. All I was insinuating is there possibly must have been something going on that we weren't aware of. If that was not the case, then you're right. I'll publicly offer them an apology. I believe that everyone has the opportunity to listen to both sides before they come out and endorse, and that's what we were seeking in that particular race, of course. But I believe that Ms. Barner has come out and said that that was not the case, and I take her at the word, and I do publicly apologize for that.
Mr. Byrne, you have 15 seconds, sir.
Well, I think as a gentleman, I respect that, and I thank you for that. As a fellow Marine, I sincerely appreciate that, and thank you on Angela's behalf. I can assure you, I have never met with her since the primary was over with, and this evening is the first time that I've seen her since. I did not offer her anything, therefore she had nothing in which to respond to.
Thank you, gentlemen. And now, Mr. Weatherford, let's try to get another question, sir.
Great. Mr. Byrne, you have a record, and it's different for the citizens of Cobb County. As chairman, the Cobb County Ethics Board fined you $1,000 for failing to disclose a business relationship with a local zoning attorney who you apparently have voted for in favor a majority of time. The headline read, Cobb panel says official broke ethics and Byrne used bad judgment. And then you were even investigated by the FBI and the IRS for questionable sweetheart deals. How could the citizens of Cobb County trust that you would change your ways and not act in such unethical manners in the future?
Because I was exonerated in both. You are correct. Both the FBI and the IRS did a complete investigation on me and wrote a letter saying that it was open for public record. It was clean and honest. The first part was wrong as well. The issue before the Ethics Board at the state level was not for violation of impropriety, because in that hearing it came out that I voted against zoning proposals represented by an attorney by the name of John Moore, 4-1. And the fine of $1,000 was not for an ethics violation, but the perception that there was one, and I agreed to that, and that was a proper way in which to deal with it.
15 seconds, Mr. Weatherford.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne, for clearing that up. If the perception was there and you agreed to it, then obviously it's still a mission of guilt in some form or fashion. But I take you to your word that hopefully that is all behind us.
Mr. Byrne, a second question, please, for Mr. Weatherford.
Yes, sir. With regards to the FOP endorsement, after that became public, you commented there's a select group there that all they want to do is to get up there and stir things up. Billy Mall, the president of that group, said Bob was more aligned with the chamber and the chairman, and we don't have a lot of confidence in the chairman, and that's just the way it worked out. The vote for endorsing me was unanimous with 105 people present. Don't you think you owe the FOP and President Meir and also Bob Pierce an apology for those kinds of accusations?
Well, if there were 105 people there, you counted differently than I did, but I was there and was not allowed to vote being a member. And what I commented on was the fact that, and I had breakfast with several of them today at our monthly retired old men eating out breakfast, was that it should have been sent to all the leadership. It's never been done that way. It should be set up. When we spoke in March, they decided not to endorse anyone, and I had to invite myself to the FOP in order to be heard. They decided not to endorse anyone. When we came back, I got a call from Mr. Pierce saying, now we decided to endorse someone, and we're now going to decide who to endorse. So we went back a second time in April. I certainly feel like the process was flawed, that most of the membership should have been able to at least have a say in that, rather than a select few that attended the meeting. That is the primary purpose of what I stated.
15 seconds, Mr. Byrne.
Well, as a dues-paying member, surely you know the rules are those who show up vote. It doesn't go out to the full membership of about 400 people. There were 105 people there. It was unanimous. You had the same opportunity to convince them you were the better candidate. They endorsed me.
Gentlemen, we have a couple of moments here that would give us time to go one more round. Are you game? Mr. Weatherford?
Certainly.
Yeah. Mr. Byrne? Okay. I believe it's your shot, right? Your question, right? Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. One of the things you've stated in your opening was that you're for public safety. However, if I recall, when you ran against Chairman Tim Lee 2 years ago, one of the premises of your budget cutting processes was to eliminate all open recs, which would include public safety. So back then, if you had been elected chairman, you would have eliminated the positions you're now advocating for public safety. How do you explain that?
Well, I never offered to cut anything. I offered to expand it and improve it and get it back to where it once was. The documents are clear. Public safety then was my #1 priority, just as it is now. Defeating the T-SPLOST of 2012, which you supported, was an issue I was vehemently opposed to. 69% of the voters agreed with me. Just as this time around, my secondary focus is to defeat the BRT. And I sincerely hope that the Board of Commissioners decide to use that as a separate line item rather than a part of the SPLOST program, so both can be evaluated on a separate issue. I believe they will because if I read it correctly, the 4 district commissioners have adopted my policies and philosophies. We won't know until July 22nd. But I have never, under any circumstances, proposed any downsizing or elimination of any positions in public safety.
Mr. Weatherford, 15 seconds, sir.
Well, just for the record, the bus rapid transit, I totally agree, is something that should not be on the SPLOST. It should be on a standard vote on a referendum, but standing by itself, and the people wanting it should be put on that ballot. And I have said that purposely several times to the MDJ. And that is my position as well. Thank you.
Mr. Byrne, do you have one final question for Mr. Weatherford?
Yes, I do. And we need to get a final answer on this. The BRT has been an issue from the very beginning, from qualifying through the primary, and it is today. When questioned on that issue, your response has always been, it's up to the voters to decide. I get it. That's the way the process works. You are a voter. If the BRT is a separate line item, are you going to vote for it or against it?
The BRT, if it's a separate line item, should have a financial plan. I haven't seen the financial plan before I would make that decision. There's an EA or an environmental analysis that's not complete to August. It's pretty difficult to look and see if it's even going to be approved before August. Once it's approved, then you take a look at the financial plan. Can it support itself? As you so aptly stated, this triangle that's coming with all of the different Cobb alliances with other counties, with the Kennesaw State, with the Lake Point, all of those different things are going to require some type of transportation in order to move those people from one end of the county down 41 to the other. I don't know what the answer is. Unlike you, I don't say no. I say, let's research it, let's find out, let's make an intelligent decision, and then decide. Instead of just coming out and saying no, I've repeatedly said, I need to understand it more before I make an informed decision. That's the way I've been for 12 years. That's the way I'll be for the next 4 as your county commissioner.
Mr. Byrne, 15 seconds, sir.
Cobb County has spent $4.1 million studying this proposal long before the Board of Commissioners are going to put it on the ballot. The factual information that you say you don't have, you haven't seen, and you don't read has been available for several months.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did. Very informative. Gentlemen, each candidate will now have 2 minutes to sum up. As I mentioned before, the speaking order was decided at random. You drew for it, and Mr. Weatherford, you go first.
I certainly appreciate all of you coming tonight to hear both of us. Obviously, we both have some ideas that are the same, some that are different. It really boils down to who you feel can represent you best in West Cobb and the cities of Ackworth, Kennesaw, and Marietta. I feel I've done that for 12 years. I feel like I have the collaborative effort and the servant leadership that I have exhibited, and my record speaks that way. I promise you that I will listen to what everyone needs to say. I will have an open door policy, and you can come to me and I will learn from you. During these 5 months of arduous campaigning, I have listened to a lot of people, and I have learned a lot. What may in July the 22nd, I am blessed and a better person for having done this. Although at times it is rough, as any of you might understand, and I'm sure Mr. Byrne will say that as well. But we're not doing this for anything other than we want to be a servant leader, a public servant. I've done that, I will continue to do that, and I promise you, as your Cobb County Commissioner, I will continue what we've done here in this part of West Cobb to all of West Cobb, and that's a collaborative working together, open door policy that allows the citizens to speak, to listen to them, to form an opinion based on the facts, and go forward with that. That is my promise to you. I also promised myself, and I've mentioned this to several people, and I'll tell you tonight, that the day I make a decision based whether I get reelected or not is the day I will quit. I feel that strongly about it, that I need to learn what is right, listen to all the different components of every asset and aspect of a proposal, and make the right decision based on all of the people, not just the ones that are in your face a lot. And that is the hardest thing to do as elected official. I promise you that I'll be that servant leader. I'll continue to work for you and the citizens of Cobb County. And I thank you so much for what you've given me as I've run for this office for the last 5 months. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Byrne.
And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening and to share the stage with Bob. He's a good man, good fellow. I've known him for a long time. He's a fellow Marine. We just don't agree on a damn thing. And you're going to have to sort that out. You're going to have to pick the leadership that you want to rely on as we move. And let me tell you why public safety is so important. We haven't had the opportunity to get into this to the degree I would like. First and foremost, the issue of the Braves, we all understand that. The Board of Commissioners had the opportunity to negotiate from a position of strength. If you look from the outside in, when the Atlanta Braves made the decision they were leaving Turner Field, they had to select a place to go. Nowhere south was going to work, east and west was out, north was the only opportunity. Can't go to Gwinnett County, they just built a new stadium for a AAA franchise. North Fulton, north of Cobb is out. Bartow, Cherokee, Paulding, no clue. Cobb County was the only logical place for the Braves facility. They were coming here whether we invited them or not and provide them public monies or not. The impact on transportation and public safety is going to be huge. That's at that end of the county. The other end of the county, within a 3-year period of time, Kennesaw State University will be the largest university in the university system in the state of Georgia. We are not addressing the issues of transportation in and around that campus, nor is Precinct 4 capable of the public safety requirement that those kinds of growth issues are going to prepare. The Board of Commissioners has ignored it. They understand it. I will make it my #1 priority and protect all of those in District 1 on a public safety basis and a transportation basis. Thank you all for being here tonight. It's always good to be with Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, your candidates for Cobb Commission Post 1.